Welcome to Spill the Real podcast, the Margarita Book Club for women in their 40s navigating midlife, motherhood, marriage, and that nagging feeling that you should have life figured out by now but don't.
We're two 40-something moms of teenagers, married for years, probably in perimenopause, and still trying to lose the same 20 pounds we've been fighting for a decade.
This isn't about having all of the answers. It's about spilling the real conversations as we wish someone had with us sooner.
So grab a margarita or a coffee and let's spill the real.
Welcome back to Spill the Real podcast. We are on episode 11. Can you believe that we've already put so many out?
Yeah, I know.
I can't believe we've done
No.
that. Well, and we're so glad that you're here. Today's episode title is Rinse, Repeat, Recharge. Maybe. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Maybe the same month, but a different year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that we all live on a little bit of autopilot at some times.
Oh, yes. So we're talking this episode about not seasons of life, but actual like seasons and months of the year. What do you find yourself what is so hard to keep like beginning of school, like August when school starts back, holidays, like what parts of the year or certain months do you just dread, find hard to get motivated for? So that's our real talk question is, what part of the year do you dread the most or have the hardest time preparing for mentally?
Are you throwing this to me?
I'm throwing it to you.
Okay. I think if I would have answered this question probably several months ago, I would have probably said a different month. I think with giving my job and my position, which is leading a lot of staff. So I run a nonprofit, and we have right now we have 142 staff. So I think I would have said before that October is the hardest month, like preparing for October and the holidays, only because of I love everything about that in reference to my own personal life, but that is the hardest. I don't know, studies show that October is like the hardest mental health month of the year. Like that's when people are the seasons are changing, winter's coming. People have a lot of anxiety and isolation and stress around the holidays. So like October is notorious in the year for being a really hard mental health month. I know that to be certain, not from a personal experience of what I deal with, but leading so many a variety of different staff in a culture October is just a really tough month. Kids are back at school. Summer has now wound down. You're shifting, and people's mindset and so leading people during that time and building a culture during that time is really hard.
Oh.
So I would have said that would have been the hardest. But now, because we're recording this in real time in June, and we just wrapped May.
I know, yeah.
May is now my new Maycember.
Oh.
May, personally for me, was literally the hardest month. And if I look back in previous years, May was really hard. May is so busy, and I took a lot of emotional toll, like lots of input happening May. We have graduations where summer's coming around. So like you see outside and you want to be outside, yet I'm stuck inside doing a lot of other things. So it just feels like we were cramming a lot into May, and there's a lot of shift and changes that people are excited about and being distracted. So mine's more around that, like getting my yard ready. Like you have new routines that happen. So May is probably right now my hardest, and what I would think moving forward would be I would prepare a little bit better for May than I have in previous years, now that I know that is going to be a reoccurring scenario for me.
Yeah. I know a lot of people struggle with May, and it is super busy. And I saw a video of it was a man who was like, somebody decided to put Mother's Day in May. The busiest month for mothers and women, as far as all, all the
All
things.
the things. Check out that
Look
shirt. If
at
you're
my
listening
shirt.
and you're not on video and seeing our video footage, just so you know, Christy has a shirt on that says all the things. If you're new here, that's what we say. All of
All
the
the
things.
things. And then we decided to put Mother's Day right in the middle of all that so that mothers cannot truly enjoy a
Mm,
day meant for them. So I was like,
so
yeah,
true.
that was true. That was true.
Because you're, well, and I think to that point in May, that for Mother's Day, and what you're saying is like why it's so much more pressure for moms is because if you have school age kids, school's about to be out. So
Mhm.
now you have to figure out, like, if you're, I remember at a period of time where I'm like, where are my kids going to go for the summer?
Mhm.
Now they can stay at home, but then now I have to, like, my grocery bill is going to look
Oh
different.
yeah.
Preparing for that, like, how do you know how to work the oven, son? Can you
Yeah.
get it out on time and get off the game enough time to go and
Yes, without
get the pizza out?
smoking the house up.
Yeah, so it's just a different type of stress because I think naturally there's a lot of things ending and beginning,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like an in between. And you're really excited. Like for me, I'm excited for summer.
Right.
Summer
Yes.
gives off a different feel and a different
Yes.
vibe.
It does. It most certainly does. So mine, personally, and because of our basketball, everybody in my house coaches or plays basketball except for me. So, I would say after Christmas, I love the holidays. Like I
Mm,
love, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I just feel like it gives, like, once like the time changes and it's dark early, like it gives you something to look forward to. And I like all the all the Christmas stuff. But it's like once Christmas is over, like January, February, we are like full force in basketball season. And it's super busy.
mm,
We kind of edge into it kind of slow. I don't want to say slowly, but like, practices start, then a few games start, but then January and February is when the bulk of games, and then we go into tournament time. And so it's like super, super busy
mm,
and chaotic and hard. And for me, no sun, like
mm,
I feel like those are like kind of like the gloomiest parts of the year, and that really does a number on me mentally. I never used to realize that, but and maybe I'm deficient in vitamin D, I don't know, but like I my mindset, everything totally changes when the days start getting longer.
yes.
And so, but that season, that part of the year for us is and for me probably takes the biggest toll. We go back to school, and it's like a big long drag until almost spring break.
Right.
It seems so far away, and you're coming off of the 2 week break. So like it's just, there's not a whole lot to look forward to. I'm one of those people, I need something in the near future to look
Future.
forward to. And Neil and I like to do a lot of concerts, but we
Mm,
can't do them that time of year because of this. So like we just don't usually have a whole lot to like
yes,
forecasted.
that makes
So
sense.
that's it ends up being super hard.
So I think the when we talked about this episode and talking about like how a reset recharge, that I think it came about because we were talking, it was May for me, and so I was
Mhm.
emotionally drained, and then you're like, man, I know what that feels like because of when the winter comes and basketball. So, so we're gonna dive into today's episode.
Dive into all the things.
Things. I think where I want to go with this to help the listeners is not so much be Debbie Downers and like, this is what it
Yeah.
looks like or how, but how have we know that it's coming. What are ways that we do recharge or we prepare for that? I read this quote, it was kind of a quote, insight of a mindset shift. And it was around you can't let life happen to you. You have to
Mm.
let life happen for you.
Mhm.
And so in order for life to happen for you, you have to be a little bit in control of how you show up, the energy in which you create, all of those things. So with that being said, you know, as now I will handle May a little bit
Yep.
differently now that I know sometimes we just we're letting life happen to us, and we're not
Mhm.
like self-reflecting or being aware of
Mhm.
like, man, why was that so tough?
Yep.
What's happening in the environment? So sometimes awareness is the first key to being able to know how you're going to better prepare. So I'm going to kind of put it over to you a little bit. Knowing basketball will be coming up. Like what are ways that or strategies or little tidbits of information or tips or tricks that you've learned when you know it's going to be a season of dread or and dread is a strong word, but
Yeah,
like
it's
season of hard just because of it being busy.
right.
How do you prepare for something like that?
Well, just like you said, like you kind of took the words out of my mouth, but like I don't think I realized that was taking such a toll on me
Ooh.
before, and so um, I I haven't really prepared for it before. I've
Mhm.
just uh, like
Let it happen.
autopilot, like
Mm,
just let it happen, and so as you were even saying that, I was there thinking, how could I prepare for that? I think for me, a lot is at that point, because of the holiday season too, coming off of that, I haven't usually spent a lot of time with like my friends.
mm,
I know we just had that
yes.
episode, so that's kind of fresh in our minds. But I think maybe like making sure I plan some things that I want to do,
Mm,
or that make me feel good. I'm usually not reading at that
mm.
time of year because I don't have time.
Um,
So maybe, coming off a Christmas break, sometimes I will maybe try to read something, but like maybe trying to just make sure I carve out time for some to do something, things that I like to do that I enjoy doing,
mm,
because I'm gonna say it's hard for my whole family just because it's so busy, but they're the ones busy. I'm
mm,
doing their thing, so I think maybe for me, I need to make sure that I'm kind of watering my
mm,
grass, my
mhm.
personal grass, and like making sure that I'm like doing some things for myself, not being
Right,
selfish, but because if I don't, I know I'm not going to be good for everybody else.
right.
So I think for me going into it this coming year is like just
You're
trying to
gonna
make sure I'm doing things, like whether it's going out with my friends or just trying to be really intentional about some things.
I think that's important. Well, and it's gonna be an experiment for you
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
like you said, I think what you're explaining or describing, most people do. Like we're just doing life. Like it's that
Mhm.
Groundhog Day that we
Yep.
talk about, and I think that we talked about that like in the beginning episodes of our podcast of is this midlife crisis like
Yep.
or
Or is
is
it
it
just
just
Groundhog Day?
hugs it
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So how do we shift it up and realize, okay, instead of letting this happen to it, what actions can we take? And I'll use a prime example that just happened, and I did it to you actually this past weekend. I knew I was going to be in a gym yet again when the weather is nice, and
Yes.
it makes me mad because it's summertime and we're trapped in a gym on a Saturday when it's nice and I want to be
Yeah.
there by the pool. I can't control that.
Right.
I love watching my kid play
Oh
basketball.
yeah.
I just don't like the games in between.
I know, having to wait. Like, let's go in and play, but get out.
So I text you and I was like, "Hey, grab your tennis shoes."
Yes.
Because I was going to be intentional. Like, if I have to be here, I want to be here. Let me
Yes.
rephrase that.
We don't want to watch everybody else's kids that are not on our team, that we because most of the time we have a game, and then we have at least one game, sometimes two,
Two.
we have to sit through
Hmm.
and wait until our boys play again. So
Yes.
that's what she's talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I text you. I was like,
Yep.
bring your walking shoes. We're gonna walk. Maybe that's why they lost. We could not go walking
Because they lost the first
because they
game.
lost the
So
first
we did get to go
game. So I
home.
come home to the pool.
Yeah.
But that was my whole point is if I can't be outside to enjoy it the way that I want to, how can I be
Yeah.
outside? I get in hours with my friend, like what we talked about in
Right.
previous episode. I get hours in. We can
We're gonna
talk. We
walk.
can
We get our
catch
steps
up.
in.
All
Yeah. All
all the
the
things.
things.
Why is that so
I
funny?
don't know.
It
It's
is.
great.
So I think that being more aware that how do I take action in what I can control that gives me the fuel going back to your point of
Mhm.
and sometimes this is bad, but that's planning ahead, and
Yeah,
that we
that's hard.
all suck about that.
Yep. I definitely do. I'm like spur of the moment. Like you text me that, and I literally was about to walk out the door and ran back in and grabbed my tennis shoes and socks. But maybe we jinxed them. I don't know. Let's just
Yeah.
start bringing her tennis shoes and socks every time now, and just not even. And that way, we'll hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah, we'll win the next tournament.
Yeah, hopefully.
So we can get a lot of walking in. But
Yeah.
I think that's so kind of going back and resetting this episode. I guess what are the things that I asked you, like, what are the things, and this is gonna be kind of new to you, and you're saying like I really wasn't aware. I guess before we move on to some of the things that I've learned about myself, how did you make yourself become aware that, man, that was a really tough season and it was because of this? Like, can you draw back and pull back just a little bit to go a little bit deeper? Like, how did you even know? What did you ask yourself? How did you come to the realization, like, man, it was that season of that time, it was not getting in, it was that was cold outside, I was
Yep.
doing things for everyone else, not that I don't enjoy that, but like I wasn't getting in. How did you, how can you reflect to come up with that realization, and why did it take now? Because how
This
many
now,
basketball seasons have you had?
right? That So honestly, I think it was always kind of in the back of my mind, like I would prepare in a way of like just mentally trying to be like, okay, all right, here we go, back to school. Like the dread of getting up and it's dark outside, and but I never. I'll be quite honest. When we talked about doing this episode, and we talked about what our real talk question was going to be, that's what made me stop and reflect.
Mm,
I hadn't even taken the time to go. I've reflected a lot. Oh, and I've mentioned this several episodes about how I just had a really hard season of life, a hard few months, and I've tried to blame it on different things. Like I was trying to blame it on this or that. Why was I feeling the way that I was feeling? And I think it was just a combination of things. And then because just the basketball season alone isn't just horrible time consuming thing, but it also affects a lot of other things. It affects the time I get to spend with my husband.
mm,
Like we don't get to have a lot of quality one-on-one time. And then just like I said, the dreary days just wear on me after a while. But I hadn't really pinpointed that until we sat down to do this. I was like, what? I was like, back to school. That kind of stinks because we're coming off summer break.
mm.
And I was like, but it's still not, it still doesn't have this, heaviness to it. And so I was really preparing for this episode that really got me thinking.
Yeah.
So,
So that's funny that you say that, because that is actually a strategy that I would tell everyone, that that's what I do a lot. But when I'm coaching people, that's what I coach them on. A lot of times we're not, I think I might have said this in another episode, but I used to, when someone told, I went to this conference this long time ago, I did a lot of self development
mm.
crap, but it's not crap, it's the greatest thing ever. But they were talking about journaling, and I'm used to, like, you write your deepest darkest, like when I think of journal, I
hmm
think you write your deepest darkest secrets, lock it up, hide it from your parents under your bed. I actually have one of those, and it's in my hope. I have a hope chest,
Yeah.
that like you put all the things
Uh
in,
huh.
and this journal is still in there, and I go back to read it every now and then. It's so funny. Anyways, but what I have learned now about journaling and the self development and the things is that, in order to truly reflect and it not just be a thought that enters and weighs you down, and you're like, well, shoot, I don't know what to do with that, or I didn't even know we don't go any deeper than just it entering our brain
hmm
and letting it sit there to control our mindset, usually in the most negative way, right? Like
Yeah.
a dread or a fear or a worry. And then that brings us into this negative energy. And so when I had gone to this conference a long time ago, it talked about journaling and these journaling prompts. And I never, like, I'm like, okay, that's really stupid. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need a journaling prompt, but there's something very powerful of putting pen to pencil, like pen to pencil, pen to paper, And being guided through some prompts of
Mhm.
just, it makes you think on a deeper level and set with thoughts that you typically wouldn't want to set with.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and that has really helped me to define, to not let life happen to me,
Mhm.
but let life happen for me based on a lot of these prompts. Like, let me just give you an example that changed
Okay.
my life. Um, it was a writing prompt,
Mhm.
and it said, when you're 80, this was the writing prompt. Okay. So everybody do this with me. And you
Get your
do
pen
this,
and your
you get your pen out. When you're 80
Mhm.
and you're sitting with your husband or wife on a rocking chair on your back porch, what will you want to be that you remember the most? Like, what will you have done in your life that you want to be talking about with your significant other when you're 80? And how much time are you investing in that versus what made me realize is when that writing prompt happened in my certain season of life that I was at, I was spending so much time investing in things that actually would never matter when I'm 80.
Mm.
And I was worrying about things that never mattered when I was 80. And so that really just started to cultivate this journaling experience for me of just this random, like, I could give you a writing prompt right now and being like, tell me 5 things that made you happy last year that you want to repeat for this year. You never thought that, has never entered your brain, right?
No. Yeah.
But if you have to reflect and
Mhm.
think and put that and write that down, and then how are you going to repeat it this year? You now started making life happen for you
Oh, yeah.
and not
Yeah.
waiting to see how the basketball season happens, not
Right.
waiting to see what we're going to do this summer. Right. And
Right.
so I am just, that was more than what you bargained for
No,
today.
I like it. I
But
feel
that
like
is,
I'm in therapy. I
well,
like it.
welcome. I'll send you the bill after. No, I mean, it just works for me. I am that go deep
Mhm.
type of person. Not I don't go deep with a lot of people, but there's a lot of people like when I know that they're in that like I'm like, all right, what is
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So there for a while, even when I was big into the journaling, so there's a thing that sits next to my bed, and I do write in it. And probably like if I die, um, somebody could probably read those things and really learn a lot about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and it's not like my deepest, darkest secrets.
Right.
It's not, I think we have to write about negative stuff to like
Mm,
release it. Now, I'm probably sure that there's some of that stuff in there, but it's not just like journaling what's on your mind. It's really having a question, a prompt that makes
with
you analyze
intention.
with
Yeah.
intention.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That with intention that makes you reflect. Otherwise, you're never going to reflect.
Yeah. I feel like that could be some podcast episodes. I
Ooh,
like that. I like that.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I'll keep
So
that one in mind.
that is journaling, prompting, reflection. That was why I kind of asked you how how was the aha, and it wasn't until you had to think
I had
about
to
it.
think about it and write it down. Yeah.
And so many times we're worried about what we're going to cook for dinner tonight that we're really not thinking about what is life doing and how we want to show up differently does matter. But if we're not reflecting on it and we're not analyzing that and with intention, then we keep doing the same thing. We're going to keep getting the same results.
Groundhog Day.
And that,
Groundhog Day. And that's like for me, I hate I like change. I like rearrange a room or
ooh,
reorganize something. You
mm-hmm,
know what I mean? Like I
mm-hmm,
like little changes.
mm-hmm,
I never minded like job changes or um like I like I like things the same sometimes, but I always like just a little tweak, a little so I
mm,
feel like that for me, if I can just if the silliest things like doing like the things that you have to do over and over and over again get on my nerves.
mm-hmm,
Like the laundry. Like I'm gonna throw laundry in here and I'm gonna wear it and I'm gonna have to wash it again. Like that kind of stuff gets on
mm,
my nerves. But man, if I could get like a new like laundry organizational system
mm.
that can like kind of tie me over and
Like
not hate it
recharge
as but
you.
recharge me. Yeah. So like and I know you can't do that with
Mm.
everything, like loading and unloading the dishwasher. Blah. I mean, you can only do that so many ways, and but then you start having your kids do it, and that helps. That helps, but that so I have for me that's kind of I guess my strategy. If I can make little small
Mm,
changes, like going into a new school year, can feel like, oh, I've done this now I've done this 22 times, like, but so maybe like rearranging my room differently for the next year helps me
mm,
just feel a little bit different, even though it's the same. And
mm.
that's probably the part that like lured me to teaching was it is the same, but it's
Every kids are different.
every kid is different, every class
Ah.
is different. So that helps me it not be so mundane.
Mhm,
Um, there's just enough change in there that kind of keeps me going. And sometimes that change is good and sometimes it's not so good.
mhm.
But at least it changes things up a little bit.
Have you
So
ever done your Enneagram? Have we talked about this
I
before?
have before, and I could not tell you. I used to know what it was because I had to do it for my counseling classes.
Mhm. I would say
Um,
you're a 7 or a 8, just saying.
I want to think I'm a higher number like that, but I can't remember exactly
And
which one.
you are really in therapy right now. Next question.
Okay.
When you were a kid, did you like rearranging like your living room and your like bedroom? Like did you always like change up your room or decorations or
Um, I like to, but I never really. I just yes, because but I always felt like thinking back to my different. We moved a couple of times as a kid. I never really could like so my first house. We're going down a different rabbit hole, but I'm gonna explain why I couldn't always do it. My first house we lived in, it was like the roof was shaped like a barn roof,
Mhm.
and so my room, like the ceiling was like this slanted, and it was kind of small, and I couldn't put my bed like where my furniture was kind of like where it had to be. And then when we moved, I had a water bed. I'm gonna take you way back
Hey,
on
I
that
had a water
one.
bed too.
I mean, you weren't moving that sucker, no,
No,
but I would move the other
I
things around as
see.
much as I could. But then you were like limited. But I love the feeling when something gets changed.
Mm,
So like I think one time um we had to take the water out and put new water
mhm.
in. And I was like, yes, taking the opportunity to, I mean, core literally, like, all only place I could put it was like on the other wall. But I always just love that feeling of that newness or whatever.
So
So,
it is definitely built into your personality and your the traits in which strengthen and recharge you. So knowing that, meaning why I say that, like, because I'm you are there's a lot of things that are different from you than me. Like, you like creativity within like cooking and mixing up drinks in different ways, and
yeah,
you that I am like this. I know what I like. This is what I'm
that's,
going to do. Like I'm very type A, very like I'm an
yeah,
Enneagram 3. Like I know those things. Now I love a good vision, but I want to build the map, and
hmm
I'm not going to tell anybody else that I'm going to build the plane as I'm flying it. But I kind of know that
yeah,
the direction and the vision that I'm going to it either way is not a bad, but what you're describing is that is actually a way if you choose not to do and know those strengths about you, like that's what recharges you or that reset, clearing out a closet, an
mm-hmm.
organization system, changing up living room furniture, like doing those things actually then gives the monotony out and would actually put you in a more of a mindset to welcome opportunities. Just giving you a little self
Hey,
development
oh,
there, but a lot of people can't identify with that and
mm-hmm.
realizing like, oh, that's what I need. But that's probably why you're motivated. Me, I'm not by cooking and because it's a new
You can
it
do,
can be a
yeah,
new experience every time.
yeah,
That's why sometimes people that like if they have your personality and they're stuck in a job or
mm-hmm.
they're stuck in and it's the same thing over and like I know how this is going to play out.
Yeah,
I know how this person's going to respond. They tend to want a different relationship or a different
mm-hmm.
they need that spark of that interest to be in a little bit
Yeah,
of a reset, a little bit of a
yeah, yeah,
recharge.
yeah.
Just saying, I've identified a lot about you in this episode.
She is pegged to me, right? I mean,
But
hey, I don't like it.
none of it is a bad thing. It's just being able to identify what we need to know and prepare, because that's when life happens to us, and then it's the dread and the mindset
Mm-hmm.
around that negativity. And sometimes even when I know what I need, and I get pissed off at myself because I'm like, all right, I know I'm not doing the habits. That is why May owned me. I'm like, I got
Uh,
to start reading again. Like, I was
uh,
out of the habits. Read the book Atomic Habits. Don't Probably haven't read that book, but that's okay. See, I'm Enneagram 3.
uh.
But there are certain habits, when you realize what habits fuel you, that's when we're in this every season. Oh shoot, I'm throwing pins over here. Every season, we know Christmas is going to come. We know what the holidays, we know our
Mm-hmm.
traditions, we know what summer is going to look like, we know what basketball seasons are going to look like. The seasons are the same,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes our growth and our mindset make those seasons of the year better and work for us, and not that they're just going to own us and spit us out,
Right.
basically.
Hey, yeah. I mean, I think it's like I I don't know, making a New Year's resolution, or
Oh,
maybe that's why a lot of people do that at that time of year. Like, not just because it is new, but maybe some of it is the mundane, going into. So
it's a slippery slope.
it is, it is. So basically, what I need to do in January is I need to start reorganizing closets or something.
Do that.
Maybe. We'll
Come up with
see.
some new
But I usually don't have
recipes.
time.
I know.
Usually don't have time. But that's a I, I'll just have to be more mindful and see if that helps. See if
Yeah.
that helps. I'm gonna have to figure out something about, like, I don't know if I need to get some red light therapy or something. I'm gonna have to figure out something about the sun, because that makes me want to crawl under a blanket and not move
I know. The
until spring.
when the I've heard where we're gonna have, I don't know if this is true, where we're gonna adapt and not do, how we're on, what do we
Daylight
do?
savings
Yes. I was
time.
like, what is that called again? Yes, that where we won't do that anymore, right?
They talked about it, but then every year we're still doing it. So I don't know when that's
I
supposed to
know.
take effect, if it is.
I'm in favor of us never changing the time.
Same.
Like fall back, spring forward, all those
Same.
things. Why do we do that to begin with? Do you know that? I have
I
not.
have no idea.
Yeah, I
I
don't
really
either.
don't. Maybe I've heard it at some point in my life, but I don't remember if I did.
But yes, I'm very
Yeah.
impacted by the weather, by the light, but maybe a red light there, maybe going to see Kaylin.
There you go. I mean, something.
So,
I'll do anything. At that point, I feel like I would try different things to see what spurred me. I mean, and it's a busy time. It's a good busy,
mm.
but it's just
I'll say this
busy.
other little thing that I've learned over time. I feel like I might have said it in another episode. I don't know, but oftentimes, like if we can do um, the work of gratitude during
Mm,
the dreadful seasons, I
hmm
think oftentimes I'll take the holidays. Like, man, we're gonna be so busy during the holidays. Like, we got to do this. I got to take this potluck. I got to find this
hmm
gift. I got to, just. But if we take a moment to pause to find the gratitude, practice within some of those things of being able to, like, I'm very fortunate that I still get to buy gifts for my parents.
Right.
Like,
Right.
what an honor that is.
Yeah.
Instead of dreading, like, I have no idea what to buy my dad.
Right.
Some people would kill to be able to still buy
It.
a gift
Right.
for their
True.
dad. So,
True.
like, just trying to find
Mm,
that practice of gratitude
yeah.
during those seasons of dread,
Yep.
that could be the practice that prepares so that won't. I'm saying this not to you or to them. I'm saying this to myself, because
Oh.
oftentimes we need to be reminded.
Yes.
Because I literally just came out of, and the only thing that got me out of, one, the weather shifted, right?
Yes.
But two is, I know what I need to do to be the best version of myself.
Mhm.
It's just me willing to do it. And oftentimes it's that slippery slope that I talked about, is we don't do it. So either there's two sets of people. There's a set of people out there that have no idea what they need or what they to be able to control and be fulfilled and, the right mindset to be the best versions of themselves in their life. They don't know.
No,
Or there's another set, they actually know, but they're not willing
no.
to do it.
Yeah.
I might be more of that sometimes. That person is, I actually truly know because I've experienced a lot of what work. Like I try a lot of things. So I don't know. Anyways, I
Yeah.
could go on and rambling. This is definitely, I can know that I kind of picked this a little bit of like, ooh, I could talk a lot about that just
Yeah.
because
I,
it is definitely something that I'm constantly, I guess when you're leading people,
mm,
I'm constantly having to figure out if I'm not the best version of myself, how can I expect them?
yep.
So like I do that so that when I'm leading people, I can be like, all right, what are you
Yeah.
doing? And giving them tips and strategies to get through the hump
Yes.
and get out of it. Like it's okay, there's gonna be peaks and valleys, but when
Mhm.
you're in the valley,
What are you doing?
how you get
How
out
you
of
getting
it?
out of it? Yeah.
Or
Yep.
you're gonna just stay there.
Exactly.
You can be poor pitiful me.
Ooh, and it is not a good place to be.
And we're
Not a
all
good
gonna
place to
experience
stay.
it. No matter
Yep.
how much good work that you do,
Right.
you're going to experience the burnout, you're going to experience the valley.
Yes.
So identifying whether that's journaling, whether that's red light therapy, or reorganizing a closet,
Yeah.
cooking a new different meal,
Right.
starting to cook sourdough bread.
I- Hey,
You
mate.
did that
I
during
did.
basketball season.
Yeah, I did. That was, oh, I was still, it took me a while to get, that may be a whole nother episode. Took me a while to get my starter started and was a lot of,
I remember one time you said, I have to like the bait. I think you called it a baby. I don't know. Like the thing is, I have to put it in the cooler and bring. I was like, you have to do what?
oh, that was yeah, we had to go to what,
Lexington.
Lexington, and I think more than once, two different times I went with Neil and his boys basketball team, and then we went with with our boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought my sourdough starter, my flour, and my filtered water, my scale, and because I couldn't leave it, because if I did, all that time I'd put in trying to get it to start, it would have just been for naught. So yeah, it was a lot. But now I got a healthy starter, but I do think it gave. I know it seems silly, but I do think it gave me something to do. And I know we laughed about it, but I think it was something that I was doing. I had to start it. I mean, from scratch, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know we laughed about the rebounder, but it was something different that I'd never done before. And I think it just helped, like,
It recharged
it recharged
you.
me. Yes.
We're identifying things in real time that you truly were trying to search for something to get out of the valley.
Yes.
We
And
all do that.
yeah. And
It just your rebounder and your sourdough would not be, and that we're two different
I know we're
people.
too,
What
yeah,
works for me is not going to work for
exactly.
you.
Exactly. So,
I remember, and I got to reap the benefits of you making sourdough cheddar,
yeah.
jalapeno
Yeah.
cheddar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, I, I'll do
to
it till
each,
I'm tired of it, I guess, till it's Monday, and
and then you're
then
gonna
I'll move on to
figure it
something
out,
else.
figure
Yeah.
something else out.
Something else out. But
Is there anything before we wrap for today? Is there anything that was in your notes that you really like didn't have a place to insert it, but you're like, man, before we go, I really want to make sure that listeners hear this.
I think we have to be careful, and I do this a lot, comparing how it worked or what we did the last year as to
Mm.
how it's working, and we can't always do that because it's not all, it may, like I said, maybe a little bit of the same, but like, I think always looking back, well, that last year it didn't happen like that, or this year, because I
Oh.
think sometimes those things hold nostalgia, sometimes they hold grief, sometimes they hold
Mm.
disappointment, and we hold on to that instead
Mm.
of trying to find
You're
our way out of it.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that compare to be a
Yeah.
let down,
Yes.
or
And,
trying to be like, how do we make that better? Like, I think that's what I hear you're saying in that,
yes.
like that
And yeah,
comparison
I
to,
mean, if it during that season last year, it held, the good things, or the bad things, like like grief or disappointment, then we can't when we get to that same season the following year, we can't compare it because it may not
Mm,
hold that for you anymore. And you hold on to
mhm.
that. And so then you bring that in with you to that next
You're
season.
right.
So,
What See, I'm so glad I asked this because you had
yeah,
that great little nugget that I had not thought about, and if you think it's going to happen and you're just going to drag it on, like, then you're preparing yourself, and it's probably you're not doing anything about it. You're going to get the same results
same
because
results.
you're
Yeah.
just bringing it along and you're expecting the worst
Right. Right.
instead of taking actions to recreate it to be a little bit different to be able to be what you want it
Yeah.
to be.
The power through it. Yeah.
Ooh, that was good. That was good to end on.
Sometimes not just a hat rack. It's
All right. Well, and I would ask her right now what, like I do at the end of every episode, what is going to be our next episode. But we have yet to, we're living in the moment
yeah.
and we have yet to plan out some of our next
We've got
episodes.
some great ideas though. We've got some
Yeah.
great
And I
ideas.
think some things that came out of even this episode
Mhm.
that you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that would make some great topics.
Yeah.
So when we figure out all the things, we will make sure that we post them on our social media. So make sure you follow there so you know what we are actually asking you to give us insight on a next episode.
Yeah.
Or follow along on the journey so when they go live, you'll actually know because you will see us there.
All right.
All right, until next time, guys. See ya.
Bye.
All right, that's it for today's meeting of the Margarita Book Club.
Thanks for sitting with us and spilling the real for a little while.
If today's conversation sounded like a lot of your own thoughts, you're definitely not alone.
Follow us on social media at Spill the Real.
And come back next week for another round of Real Talk. Same book club, no reading required.